The observation deck of the Korvax Unity hummed with the low vibration of quantum engines as the interstellar summit entered its third day. Emma Reeves stood near the reinforced viewport, watching distant stars streak past in ribbons of light, her fingers unconsciously tracing the empty holster at her hip. The Galactic Council had mandated all weapons be secured during diplomatic proceedings, a rule she'd followed without complaint, though it left her feeling oddly naked. "Your species fascinates me. Human." Emma turned to find Commander Zekthor approaching, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the artificial lights. The Krillian officer moved with the predatory grace common to his kind, forearms crossed in what she'd learned was their equivalent of casual confidence. "Is that so?" Emma replied, keeping her tone neutral. "Indeed." Zekthor's mandibles clicked in amusement. "You call yourselves warriors, yet your physiology is laughably inadequate. No natural armor, no venom, no enhanced sensory organs. You are, by all measures, prey animals who somehow stumbled into the stars." Emma had heard variations of this speech a dozen times since humanity had joined the Galactic Council 5 years ago. The other species never seemed to tire of pointing out human fragility, as if vulnerability were synonymous with weakness. "We manage," she said simply. "Manage?" Zekthor's laugh was a harsh, rattling sound. "Your kind hides behind technology because evolution forgot to give you claws. The Krillian military has dominated this sector for 3 millennia. Our reflexes operate at speeds your primitive nervous system cannot even register." Elijah Martinez, Emma's partner and fellow human representative, appeared at her elbow. He'd clearly heard enough of the conversation to catch its drift. "Commander," Elijah said, his diplomatic smile not quite reaching his eyes, "every species has its strengths." Platitudes. Zekthor waved a dismissive claw. "I have studied your kind extensively. Your soldiers require years of training to achieve what a Krillian warrior possesses from birth. You are simply inferior specimens, adequate for mining colonies and agricultural worlds perhaps, but true combat." He clicked his mandibles again. "That requires evolution's blessing." Emma felt Elijah tense beside her, but she placed a gentle hand on his arm. "You seem very certain about our limitations," she said to Zekthor. "Certainty comes from evidence. The Krillian Empire has never lost a war. Our reflexes are 3 times faster than yours. Our strength-to-mass ratio is superior, and our combat instincts are hardwired into our genetic code." He leaned closer, his compound eyes glittering. "What does your species have? Soft skin and the ability to throw rocks slightly better than your ape ancestors?" "We have adaptation," Emma said quietly. "And we have skill." "Skill?" Zekthor's laughter attracted attention from nearby delegates. "Skill is a word the weak use to pretend biology doesn't matter. No amount of skill can overcome raw evolutionary advantage." Emma glanced at Elijah, who gave her the smallest nod. They'd both had enough. "Care to test that theory?" Emma asked. Zekthor's antennae perked forward with interest. "What do you propose, human?" "A demonstration. The ship's recreation deck has a kinetic range for security personnel, old-fashioned projectile weapons, the kind that rely purely on the shooter's ability, not technology." Emma's expression remained calm, almost casual. "If human skill is just a myth we tell ourselves, you should have no problem outperforming me." The Krillian commander's mandibles spread wide, a predatory grin. "You wish to compete against me in combat marksmanship? A human against a Krillian?" He looked around at the growing crowd of delegates. "This I must see. Yes, human. Show me this skill you claim to possess." 20 minutes later, the recreation deck had been cleared and converted into an impromptu arena. Word had spread through the ship with remarkable speed, and delegates from a dozen species lined the observation gallery. Emma could feel their curiosity, their skepticism, their assumption that this would be a quick and embarrassing demonstration of human inadequacy. The range master, a thorough Dendari officer, explained the rules. Standard kinetic pistols, mechanical firing mechanism only. No smart targeting, no AI assistance. 10 rounds each. Targets at 50 meters. The range includes variable conditions, moving platforms, changing light levels, and random obstacle deployment. Zekthor selected his weapon with the confidence of someone who'd never questioned his superiority. His forearms gave him options humans didn't have. He could stabilize, aim, and fire with mechanical precision. Emma picked up her pistol, feeling its familiar weight, the cool metal against her palm. She'd grown up in the ruins of old Texas, where learning to shoot wasn't a hobby, but a necessity. Before humanity had reached the stars, before the Galactic Council had even known humans existed, Emma had been winning competitions against the best marksmen Earth had to offer. But this wasn't about Earth anymore. This was about something larger. "Whenever you're ready," the Rangemaster announced. The first target appeared, a standard circular mark on a moving platform. Zekthor fired almost instantly, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to track and shoot in what seemed like a single fluid motion. The round struck the target dead center. Impressive, Emma waited. She watched the platform's movement, calculated the pattern, felt the weight of the pistol in her hand. Then she fired. Center mass. The second target was smaller, faster, with irregular movement. Zekthor fired 3 times, 2 hits, 1 miss. His mandibles clicked in slight frustration. Emma fired once, hit. By the 5th target, the range had become a chaos of moving obstacles, flickering lights, and targets that appeared for barely a second before vanishing. Zekthor was firing rapidly, his superior reflexes working overtime, hitting about 60% of his marks. Emma had missed once. Only once. The gallery had gone silent. The final target sequence was the real challenge. 5 marks appearing simultaneously at different distances and angles, staying visible for only 3 seconds. It was designed to be nearly impossible. Zekthor fired all his remaining rounds in a blur of motion. He hit 3 of the 5 targets. Emma took a breath. This was what humans did, what they'd always done. They didn't just react, they thought. They didn't just shoot. They adapted. They turned weakness into strength, limitation into innovation. She fired 5 times. 5 hits. The silence in the observation gallery was absolute. Emma set down her pistol and turned to Zekthor. The Krillian commander stood motionless, his compound eyes fixed on the targets as if disbelieving what his enhanced vision was showing him. "Your reflexes are faster," Emma said quietly. "Your strength is greater. Your evolutionary advantages are real." She paused. "But we humans learned something important during our time on Earth, fighting each other in our environment for millions of years. We learned that survival isn't about being the strongest or the fastest." Elijah stepped forward, his voice carrying across the deck. "It's about being the most adaptable, the most determined, the most creative in the face of limitations." Emma continued, "You called us soft, weak, prey animals. But Commander, prey animals don't make it to the stars. Survivors do. And we've spent our entire existence learning to overcome everything biology didn't give us." Zekthor finally turned to face her. For a long moment, he simply stared. Then slowly, he raised all 4 arms in the Krillian gesture of respect. "I underestimated your kind," he said, his voice lacking its earlier arrogance. This skill you speak of, it is something we Krillians have perhaps forgotten in our reliance on genetic advantage." His mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "You have taught me something today, Emma Reeves of Earth." "What's that?" Emma asked. "That evolution's greatest gift isn't claws or armor or reflexes." He looked around at the assembled delegates, then back at Emma. "It's the ability to recognize when you need to become more than what nature made you." As the crowd began to disperse, Elijah leaned close to Emma. "Think they'll stop underestimating us now?" Emma smiled, watching Zekthor engage in animated conversation with several other military commanders who'd witnessed the demonstration. "Maybe, or maybe we'll just have to keep showing them who humanity really is." "And who's that?" "The species that refuses to accept limitations." Emma looked out at the stars beyond the viewport. "The ones who draw, fire, and redefine what's possible every single day." Elijah grinned. "Humanity, fuck yeah, exactly."